and welcome to the second episode of Holding Court with the Nerd Queens.
Hello, everyone.
So we have a lot to unpack today, and it's mostly about one subject, but we do have other things for you guys. So
we will try to talk about other subjects as well.
We'll do our best.
Because the first one is too depressing.
So, do you want to break it to them? Well, they've already heard. They've already gotten the bad news.
So there's like the thing about, is it a bad news or is it just news, sort of?
Well, a bit earlier this past week, we heard that Matt Reeves is going to be producing and directing a film called The Batman, and it's going to be taking place with a younger Bruce Wayne. Allegedly will not be played by Ben Affleck due to his age. Now, fans across social media has taken that as a sign that Ben Affleck is done with Batman. But we both have some varying viewpoints on that, and I'll let Nana explain what her thoughts are first.
Well, so I've obviously had some time to think about it. Now that it's been, a week or so? Anyway, when I first read the news, I felt really down. I won't lie, the information caught me off guard even. And I was very hesitant to go with the whole, Ben's not necessarily done, just because I felt like we would be holding on to hope that might not be validated at any point, and it would just kind of be pointless.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just kind of went with the wave of things not really being, I didn't feel very well at the time in general, so I just think I went down with the whole sour mood of it. I had some time to think about it, and I also heard from various people in my surroundings that Ben still have a contract for another film, which obviously I don't have the actual source, and I can't say that I'm 100% sure that's true. But it makes sense that he wouldn't be in a film where they require to have younger Bruce Wayne. The question is with how long it took to actually come up with the Batman project, and that is a point that was raised by our shared friend on Facebook, one of our friends from San Diego, that if it again takes so long to get another Batman film out, or any film that would involve Ben's Batman, it might just get to the point where where Ben is too old for being Bruce. But then again, there are, arguments, well, he can be older Bruce Wayne. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it's him saying, I'm leaving forever. But in the same time, I am very hesitant to believe he will be back, if that makes any sense.
And it does, and that's where our viewpoints differ for once. Usually we have a lot of the same opinions, but this time around we don't actually. So my first reaction when I saw the news was I read the press release very carefully, then I went back and I read Ben's tweet. And then I went and looked at every press release I could find, and I did not find a single mention that Ben was done. The only people saying that he was stepping down from Batman were the usual blogger, clickbait sort of sources that have been saying for the last few years that either Ben or Henry or any of the member of the Justice League are done or out just to get people riled and to get clicks. And if you're in the Schneider Cut movement at all, you know that. You have that experience with these people. So, and I'm just explaining that for the sake of those listening. But anyway, and as Nana mentioned, he is still contracted for one other film. And all that it looked like is that Ben is excited for Matt Reeves, who has become his friend, it looks like, because he becomes friends with a lot of the directors he works with, even whether the film sees fruition or not, that he's excited for Matt Reeves, and he's excited for this addition to the legacy of Batman. He seems like people keep saying he's passing the torch, and there's a difference between passing the torch and welcoming someone who's a younger party. And I firmly believe if they get an actor, if whoever they cast will be able to show us, like once we see who's cast as the younger Batman, it'll kind of be a sign whether or not Ben is done, because they're still talking about the Justice League timeline, the Batman v Superman Snyderverse timeline. And the entire reason Ben Affleck came into Batman was for Zack Snyder. And he has a real love and passion for this part, but he is one of those actors that when it's come down to confirming or denying he's in a movie, or if he's working on a film, he's always been explicitly clear about it. And he's never done anything like where you've tiptoed around it. So I'm not ready to say he's done until he says it explicitly. Like, the only people I'd really believe it from is Matt Reeves, Ben Affleck himself, hell, even if like Zach comes and weighs in and says, listen, he is done. But at the moment, it just looks like everybody's assuming he's done because they're going to do a prequel film. And like...
Well, there has been rumors, and you yourself voiced it to me as well, that potentially maybe Warner Brothers is looking into reaction to all this mess, seeing if Ben has a fan base as far as his Batman goes, seeing if, you know, people will be interested in his Batman beyond all this. So it might be why everything's so cryptical. I'm just kind of
tossing the idea out there.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm tired of, you know, guesses and all that, but
being a DC fan can be really stressful.
Yeah, it's just nobody ever says anything straight, you know? It's like you always have to guess. You always have to think, okay, is this how it is, or is it differently? What does the sentence say? You know?
Yeah, but so that is one thing I was discussing with some people on Twitter, the thought that this could just be a way to test the waters to see if people actually care, because when WB did not retract the rumors that Henry Cavill was done as Superman until after the internet literally broke with people freaking out about how much they love him. And they only retracted it after hearing from Henry. So part of me thinks that this could be part of a publicity stunt, whether we'll find out in obvious, like, black and white it was or not. It's still been both bittersweet to see people's, like, outpouring love for Ben, because, like, moments, literally mere moments after that article was posted and he tweeted the words "the Batman" or Ben Affleck or Matt Reeves, everything was trending on Twitter worldwide. The whole internet was exploding with love for Ben Affleck. And
I find it funny, though. I mean, whether it's love or hate, that whenever something like this comes around, it just causes the whole franchise go trending again.
Yeah, exactly. That's something
guys,
that...
for how much you claim to hate DC mostly, it just keeps
talked
going
about
viral.
so much. Yeah, that's what our friends in the Schneider Cut movement laugh about, is how every year when we talk about Batman v Superman on the anniversary, it's suddenly trending.
Yeah, is it Batman v Superman time again?
Almost.
So we'll get there soon. Anyway, yeah, I will be interested to see what comes out of the mess. But anyway, that means we're going to get younger Batman.
Which will be very interesting. It's been fun watching people throw out their ideas for a younger Batman. And so, but...
I wish I had a single one. Do you have any ideas?
I don't have any ideas myself. I have seen people posting fan art of Robert Pattinson, who played Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter, as an older Batman. And not older, younger. But the way he looks now, like he's matured and whatnot, I could actually see it. I wouldn't be opposed to that in a way. But there's other suggestions. Some people have said they've said like Clint Eastwood's son, Scott, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think he doesn't have the face for it. I don't think he could blend into Ben eventually, but we'll have to wait and see. And if there are any good theories, we could always tell people next episode.
We can, yes. I think that everybody's going to be curious now. That it'll be this big reveal. Who's going to,
It'll probably be revealed at San Diego.
Yeah, I was just going to say
at San Diego Comic-Con.
It would be actually funny if they revealed it in San Diego. I would not be surprised if they did. What year is it set for? 2020 or 2021?
I believe that it's set to come out 2020. I think, or 20.
Is it? I think 21.
I think you might be right.
They're not making 2020, are they?
No, probably not. But
I mean, they don't even have an actor, so they're probably not making 2020.
True. So what else that we have in DC EU film news?
Well, there's always Birds of Prey.
Yes, the Birds of Prey trailer. So it was not the trailer, teaser, excuse me. And it was a very short teaser. It was literally a tease.
Said nothing, and it caused the internet to explode.
So the first thing that people were complaining about is, once again, they cannot stand the way Harley is dressed, Harley Quinn, which was annoying because it's like, how do you know that's the outfit she's going to wear the whole film? Cause
I would laugh if she didn't even wear that outfit at all in that film.
Well, what I found which made me really actually endeared to that silly sweater she's wearing with the plastic on it, was that she used parts of police tape to make it. So if you look at it, it says "Do not cross police line." And I thought that was hysterical and such a Harley thing to do. Also, some fans have noticed that by zooming in on pictures of her wearing shorts, that on her tattoos, she has crossed out things like not like the word "put in" or like "not owned by Joker." So it'll be interesting to see what's happened to bring that around.
Yeah, I think I am curious how they're gonna do the whole thing, because I have to admit, but I could more imagine, or what I thought that they're gonna go with was the Sirens storyline. Some sort of.
Well, they're kind of mixing the Siren storyline in there, because they still showed a quick glimpse of Dinah, who's Black Canary, and she looks really cool. And then they also showed a quick glimpse of Cassandra Cain, the young Batgirl. She looks adorable. She looks adorable.
At Birds of Prey there, not Sirens, are you?
Well, they've been leaning more towards, since it is called Birds of Prey, they're leaning more towards, the Birds of Prey side, but there has been talk that the Sirens will get cast as well. But the movie only just started production. We never know what could happen. They could just, come up with a new idea and add it in.
Yeah, probably. I am excited for it. That said, and I think it upsets you more than me, in a way. Bad girl choice.
I'm excited to see Cassandra Cain, because she's a Batgirl that's never been portrayed on the screen before, outside of animation. But I'm still upset that there's no mention of Barbara Gordon as Oracle or Batgirl, because she's the main Batgirl. She's the one that everybody knows, and just not explaining anything and just skipping her altogether seems kind of wrong. But I am excited to see what this young lady can do. She seems like she's a very good, excited actress, and she seems like she's really excited to have this role. So I'm still happy about it, but at the same time, I just hope that Oracle is still there. Because, if they came and explained, Batgirl isn't Barbara because she's Oracle right now, then it's like, oh, okay, that explains everything. But right now we're in the dark, and a lot of people are upset about it. Because
Yeah, no.
everybody's been dying for Babs.
I mean, I can see why they chose Cassandra instead of Barbara.
Because she's an unknown entity.
Yeah, they have pretty much blank slate as far as she goes, I'd say. I mean, Barbara is well known, and you somehow have to follow up with the character, otherwise you're going to upset a lot of people. But Cassandra is not as known, so you can kind of go and put your things into it without facing the judgment. So I can imagine why they chose this.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we also got a quick glimpse of Huntress, and all that we really saw of her was a dark shadow and holding up her crossbow. It was good to see she still has the crossbow, because that's pretty badass. And then also we caught a very, very brief glimpse of Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. I almost just called him Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
He'll always be Obi-Wan to me.
Issues. Yeah.
But it's interesting that so far, in appearance, we're only seeing him as, Black Mask without the mask. So he looks good for the part, though. I'm excited to see what he does with this, because he'll be very interesting to see in a role as a villain. But otherwise...
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him as a villain. Though I have a feeling he's going to end up like always.
Oh no, he's hot. But
like that. Anyway.
But we'll be waiting anxiously for more Birds of Prey news. There was also this crazy show happened the other day where people cosplay and they scream at the TV. It's something called the Super Bowl.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really interested in sporting events.
Not lately. In that fandom, but we did catch...
I am partially in that fandom, but...
As far as hockey goes, but...
sucks, so...
But...
I'm just kind of like, you don't exist right now, you don't bring me joy.
You don't bring me joy. But we did see the quick little teaser.
Sorry. I know that we are moving on, but I have one more thing. I don't know if you've seen it, but there has been an image, because we have to go back to Birds of Prey before I forget it.
Okay.
Where Harley is in a pet shop, but like pet shop for like exotic animals.
Yeah, so we know she's getting her hyenas, which I'm excited for. I love her babies.
I squealed when I saw it. I mean,
they're so cute.
I know. Anyway, let's go back to the Super Bowl thing.
So back to talking about the Super Bowl. So the commercials were kind of subpar this year, but the only really good one that got people talking really was the brief little teaser for Avengers Endgame. And it's really, we already knew from the end of Infinity War that they were setting up for a very dark film. But this teaser just kind of brought it home, because it was chilling. It was really chilling. It wasn't something we've seen really before with Marvel films. And it's exciting to see them broaden their range a bit. And so...
Yeah, I would assume that everybody saw it by now. The scene, or the multiple scenes of pretty much abandoned New York, are kind of
spooky.
Non-Marvel almost. It does make me curious if they will actually stick to the atmosphere, or if they're gonna, as per usual, break it by
like
jokes.
Yeah, like a couple minutes in. But it's very interesting. I like that the survivors of the event, like the superhero survivors of the snap, seem to be coming together instead of separating. It did give the impression there was a time lapse between the snap and when they finally get together. Part of me thinks that the way that the intro...
Well, there has to be a sort of, time in between. I mean, New York doesn't get that abandoned within a day.
Well, with the snap, it seemed to get abandoned pretty damn fast. But one thing I was
that within a day, does it?
The teaser made me think that how they're going to possibly get everyone back into the groove of trying to find a way to save everyone will be when Captain Marvel shows up and is like, all right, you got to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps and get back to work. Because everyone seems so just dead and like in their soul, right in their soul. Like the scene where it shows Captain America, Steve Rogers, just breaks me so much because he just got Bucky back and now he's lost him again. It's just...
and let's face it, he's probably not going to live through this one. So now Bucky's going to lose him.
I don't want to talk about that right now. My poor Cap's my fave.
We're just facing facts here, okay?
You can face facts. I will live in my fantasy land.
Jesus
where
Christ.
Where Steve Rogers is immortal.
Okay. So naive. Anyway, as far as Captain Marvel goes, I am genuinely curious how they go about this. If they put her in, or if she appears early on in the film and sort of
it'll be interesting to see when they bring her in.
If she's gonna be like the last minute resort, meaning, they're in a final battle, they're losing absolutely terribly,
and then she shows
out
up
of nowhere, here she comes. I don't know which one I would prefer, to be honest.
I have a feeling, I personally would prefer if she showed up earlier in the film, because like there's a lot that is on her shoulders and her appearance, and like if she just showed up at the end, it would be very, very rushed. And I'd like to actually get a chance to watch her dynamic with some of the characters before we have to accept their fates, so to speak. Also, I think she's going to be the reason that Tony and Nebula get back to Earth and meet up with the others.
Yeah, I do have that theory too. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Tony and Nebula are going to make it before the final battle, is it?
That's true. Though it would be kind of boring if Tony, the entire film, is just, chilling in a spaceship.
I think it would be kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. He's not going to be chilling. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be chilling, but it will be kind of heartbreaking when you think about it, because Tony and Steve didn't really get to, amend their little conflict. And if you had Tony appear at the last possible moment, essentially there wouldn't really be time for them to even say goodbye. It would be the kind of unfinished business that leaves you awake for nights and nights and nights after that.
Well, thanks. I didn't need that. I didn't need to sleep tonight. Because now that you put it that way, it's like, damn.
Yeah, I am really bad. Did I tell you about that one time when I was writing stories and people actually hated me for the way I was capable of killing off characters with unfinished stories?
So also known as that time when you were moonlighting as George R.R. Martin.
I don't know, but I wasn't very popular for that, no.
Do we have any more?
Well, I mean, we could always say a word or two about Captain Marvel. We didn't do so last week, and I mean, there are not really any news, but
there's no news, but the hype is getting pretty real. I'm excited for it, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm reserved and skeptical because it did take 20 films to get a female-led film. I'm also kind of interested about the part that her cat is going to play, Goose, because they've been promoting the cat, the little tabby cat, like a lot lately, and it's kind of like, well, what's the cat gonna do? Is the cat gonna do anything?
Is the cat gonna scratch Nick Fury's eye?
Yeah, is Goose the reason that he loses his eye? Why is it a cat named Goose?
Yeah.
Questions.
That is a good question. I want to know the story.
But we're only a few weeks away from that soon, so I'm excited to finally see it. There's been so much build up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go see it. My problem is I probably won't have with whom, because as it turns out that all my friends whom I'm going to see films with aren't particularly excited for this one. But then again, they're not like big geeks. They're not super excited about every single superhero film that ever comes out. So I might have to be alone in this one. I'm just hoping that I'm going to convince them to go to see Shazam with me.
Yes, Shazam is a must-see. That one I'm really stoked for. I have no reservations on how epic it's going to be. It looks perfect. Also, thank you so much for reminding me. So there was a little bit of Shazam news the other day, actually. I'm not even sure if I shared it with you, Nana. So
You didn't.
There was a leak from Hasbro of these action figures that are due to come out after the film that showed the Shazam kids in both their so people did some digging, and it seems like we're gonna, by the end of the film, at bare minimum, we'll have the Shazam kids, which are the kids that can all either turn into Shazam or they turn into their own versions of Shazam, depending on what they go with. And it's very exciting. It's also kind of funny because this is like the 5th time in recent years that a toy company has spoiled a major thing for a film or show with their toys leaking. It's like,
it would be hilarious if it was just a prank, but
if it was a prank, I'll be pissed because,
yeah, you'll be pissed.
I'd mostly be pissed because of the fact that I'm excited to see little Freddy, the kid with the crutches, as a superhero. My brother is excited to see him as, in the film in general, which you already know. But something that was a part of heavy discussion this past week was the fact that some people are pissed off that Freddy is not played by an actual handicapped person. So I turned to my brother and I asked him his thoughts on this, and he said that he recognizes why it's sometimes hard to have someone with cerebral palsy like him play these characters, because there's some things that are harder to do, and that he's just really excited to see a kid who looks like him in the film and will eventually be a hero. I mean, he's got the same crutches, the same dopey smile, the same curly hair. So he's really excited to see Freddy, regardless of the fact that the kid is able-bodied. And you know what? I can't help but agree with him. I just hope people don't ruin that moment for kids like my brother who are just excited to see representation.
I think that lately, with, in the spirit of all the equality and all that stuff, I mean, I understand that it's important for the representation and everything, but I feel like lately we're forgetting that, characters are still characters and they can still mean a lot to certain people. And bashing that online just because of the cast is not necessarily a good way to go about this.
Yeah, because then it doesn't really hurt the person cast because they might not know, but it hurts the people that are looking forward to it, like my little brother, who's really excited for this role, and he was like annoyed when he saw when he wanted to share that with people, and they were like, "Oh, well, it should have been a handicapped actor." It's like, well, I'm handicapped. Why should I be upset about this? I'm excited. But we'll have to see how it goes, though I'm excited in general for all of it. I know I'm going to be seeing the film with him more than likely, so we'll definitely have to talk about that after he sees it, see how he feels about it.
Well, maybe he could join us here.
Maybe he can. Give us the inside look.
His input would be much appreciated if he was up to it.
But
speaking of films, one more thing that I just remembered. Alita, the Battle Angel, when does it come out in the States? Did it come out yet?
It comes out, I believe, February 14th, and I only remember that because my brothers, the twins, want to see that as their movie for their birthday. So it's coming out soon, and it looks good. I'm excited for it.
Because I believe that in here it's been in theaters for 2 days now. Because I remember that trailers always have February 5th. So I believe that in our theaters or cinemas. It's out already. We are planning on seeing it soon, so I have to not give you spoilers, I suppose.
I guess not. But I'm excited for it. It's a very interesting premise, and I have looked at the graphic novel because one of my brothers does own it now. I flipped through it, and it looks very pretty. The animation from the film matches with it very well.
There have been a lot of criticism, though.
There always will be. I mean, everybody what I couldn't help but think of was that everybody was hating on Mortal Engines because they thought it looked too ridiculous when it came out. I absolutely loved it, and I read the book. So I feel like if everyone hates this film, I'm going to still love it anyway.
Well, I'm going in open-minded and curious. I'm going to say it this way. But once we see it, we can, in 2 weeks, I believe, we can talk about this more.
Most definitely.
Give our honest review.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anything else we got to talk about?
No, we don't. So I think that's it for our second episode.
Well, not podcast appropriate anyway.
All right, but thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for all the love we got with our first episode, and we really hope you've enjoyed our second episode, and we will see you soon.
We really appreciate any advice you guys give us, any opinion,
suggestions.
And we're just really happy that there's at least a few people who were willing to listen. So, yeah, so this has been our second episode, and we are signing off.
Yes. Bye.
Good night.